Hello. You probably wondering why she have on a cap and a stove. Well, for those who don't know, I've recently graduated from a prestigious university. I was so proud of myself, and I'm still proud of myself. But as I was thinking about the trials and the struggles that I had. Let me change my glasses. These are better. So I was thinking about the trials and the struggles that I had. And the reason why I had a lot of struggles along the way in my process of getting my bachelor's degree and get my master's degree that I have now. It was because I let people whisper in my ear. And every whisper that was in my ear wasn't good. Some would say, "You're not smart enough." So actually they were saying, "You too dumb to go to college." Some would say, "Well, you too old. You know, just forget about it. Just forget about that dream. That you should have did that when you was 18 and 19 years old. Just forget it. Just go on and raise your family, and you got a good job, You working for the state, so you got a good job." But let me tell you something. People will look at your outer appearance, how you look, how you walk, how you talk, how you dress. Okay? I mean, every little negative thought that they could shoot those darts at me would just destroy me. But it was the will of God, and it was the desires of my heart that I completed college. And I had two reasons. One, because I wanted to do it. Two, because I wanted my parents to be proud of me. Even though I was in my 30s when I started, and I had a family, and I had to stop, and I had to go back. It may take years, but it was a process. But when I rewind on my past, it was family members, I'm gonna just be real, frowned on me. They frowned up on me and said, "You too dumb for this. You'll never make it. You're not smart enough. You're too old." Then besides your parents, all they have is a trade. My dad was a truck driver. My mother was a hairstylist. So my sedated family, some of them, they know who they are, look down on us because they felt like that we wasn't good enough. They felt like that we weren't educated enough, and all of us finished high school, and we did go to college. But those downfalls, when I said people would whisper negative things in your ear, or they would say it out loud, and they thought that we wasn't good enough. So deep down in my heart, I know that was one of my desires, is to go and get my education and to further my education until I cannot further it anymore. So when I mastered going to college in my freshman year, walked across the stage, they were like, okay, that's all she's gonna do is get a little associate. That's it. So it was many years later, in 2020, I walked across the stage again. From 2009 took me to 2020. So 2009 I got my associate. 2020 I got my bachelor's. And during COVID time, you know, I didn't walk across no stage, but I received it online, and they popped my picture up, and my mother, she was just cheerleading and cheering me on, and she was just so excited, and we were sitting on the sofa, and I'm like, what is she so happy about? I was mad, you know. I wanted to walk across the stage. I wanted to let them hand it in my hand, you know. But it didn't happen like that. And my mom, she looked at me, she said, what's wrong with you, dear? And I told her how I was feeling. She said, let me tell you something. She stopped right there. She turned that chair around. Well, she turned in that sofa, and she said, listen, don't let nobody take nothing from you. And this is something they cannot take away from you. They can take everything away from you, but when you have those papers and that degree, they cannot take that away from you. She said, you have worked hard. So she said, I don't understand why you sitting over there upset. You ought to be patting yourself on the back. Because she watched me go through. She watched the struggle. She watched the nights that I stayed up late doing my homework. She watched when I broke down and wanted to give up. She watched all those things when I didn't even have enough funds to go back and forth. She provided that for me. She helped me. She was just the greatest cheerleader I had. And she encouraged me along the way, say, baby, don't give up no matter what. And I told her that day, and I said, she said, how far do you want to go? And I said, I want to go as far as I can't go anymore. So I said, I really want a PhD or a doctorate. And I said, that's how far I want to go. And she said, baby, if you believe it, you can achieve it. She said, but you have to want it. You have to believe. She said, don't listen to nobody else. What do you want? What do Vicky want? How far does Vicky want to go? She said, because I can sit here all day and build you up and encourage you to go. But it's got to be right here in your heart. She said, what do Vicky wants to do? So whenever you decide what you want to do, if you want to get that PhD, if you want to get that doctoral degree, she said, you go for it. I'll be right here cheering you on. And I looked up at her and I said, forgive me. I had to forgive myself, forgive her, forgive the Lord. You know, I had to ask for forgiveness from the Lord because I was being selfish instead of celebrating myself. So when she said that little push or that spark, something inside of me that I can do all things. But I tell you what, when my diploma came in the mail, I had already had my frame up and my frame ready to frame it. And when I received it in my hand, it was something that stirred me up inside more. My mom was so excited. I was excited. She said, now that's my girl. That's my good girl. She said, be proud of your accomplishments. So I learned along the way on my journey, never ever put myself down, never ever let nobody else put me down, and to listen to negativity, because negativity and negative people will hold you back. And if you're not strong enough, it would destroy you. But I learned down through the years that it's something inside of you that they see that they wish they could have done, and they still had the same opportunity, because age don't make no difference. Whatever you want to do, you can do it. You can achieve it if you put your heart and your mind to it. But I think it was something inside of me that I also had to prove to myself, because down through the years I had let people whisper in my ear, tell me I wasn't good enough. They tell me that I wasn't the right skin color. They told me that, I didn't dress properly. And I dress good, but I listened to all these things, and they said, well, you have to be, sophisticated. You have to learn how to be elegant and talk and speak right. And I was learning all that stuff, and it was just stressing me out down through the year. I say, you know what? I'm just going to be me. I don't care if I'm dark-skinned. I'm going to be proud of my skin color. I don't care if I talk flat in country. I heard, people tell me, where you from? You must be from the country. Yes, I am, and I'm proud of it. Yes, I love the way I talk. So, after I got past all the negativity and things people were saying to me, I began to encourage myself. I began to feel better. I began to focus more on accomplishing my goals. I started writing things down, and I said, 2 years from here, I want to have my bachelor's. 3 years from here, 2.5 years, I want to have my master's. And now I'm at the point where I have graduated and received my master's. That's why you see me with this song. That was the best feeling. I just graduated last Wednesday. I had to fly out. Didn't know where the money was coming from. I didn't know how I was going to get it. But God touched someone's heart to pay for my airfare, my hotel fare, and rental car. Y'all didn't hear me. Whoo, glory. I didn't have the money to do that. But see, when you're faithful and you learn how to treat people right, God will open up a window of blessing and pour it out that you won't even have room enough to receive. I was so grateful when I got the phone call and the text. First, I got a text. Everything was paid in full. And I'm like, huh? This person? And I hurried up. I said, let me call this person and thank them. Couldn't believe it. So all I had to actually pay for is food, and I had to pay the person back on some of the room fare and the rental fare. So I'm like, that's cool. That's cool. I paid for the food and the rental fare and the something partial on the hotel. I say, that's cool. It could have been where I had to pay everything. So through the midst of all that, I was broke. I didn't have no more money, because I had my last class, I had to cough up a lot of money. Then the cap and gown, I had to cough up a lot of money. Then the last class required this book that financial aid did not cover. And financial aid did not cover the last class. And I'm like, Lord have mercy. And I calculated up how much money I was out of. And see, I kept saying, no matter what, I'm going to get up there. I'm going to walk across that stage. You know, if I have to be broke or whatever, if I have to eat cheese and crackers or peanut butter and crackers or sandwiches, if I have to do whatever I do, a lot of fruits or whatever, and I don't have a meal, I said I can sit in that hotel and they serve breakfast. I'll make sure I have enough breakfast to last me every morning throughout the day. And I tell you, I didn't even have to do that. I didn't have to do that. God made a way that I had money, enough money when I got there. At first it was just like, I'm waiting, I got this amount, but I had money to get me some food. And I said, thank you, Lord. So the next following day, I said, thank you, Lord. So everything worked out. And only, actually, one or two of my relatives reached out to me. And they said, congratulations. And I said, thank you. I said, thank you. Well, actually, I'm going to back it up. One called me, and the other one reached out on social media saying congratulations. And then a few more, but I know that they thought I couldn't do it. They thought I wasn't smart enough. And you have to apply yourself, you really do, at these prestigious colleges where they require a lot of critical thinking. And I learned a lot because I have never been challenged like that in my whole entire life. Even when I was getting my associates, I was getting my bachelor's, I never was challenged like I was at this prestigious, I can't even say it anymore, I'm so tired, prestigious college. You know what I'm trying to say. So I had to rethink some things. I had to really change my way of thinking in life. And I'm glad I did, because down through the years, you know, when people say things to you, sometimes you begin to believe it, and sometimes you want to give up and just throw in the towel. And I learned a long time ago that giving up is so easy. But when you want something, you got to fight for it. You got to hang on in there when times are tough. You got to really grip the steering wheel and just say, you know what, I'm not going to veer off this road. I'm not going to veer off this road, but I'm going to keep straight. I'm going to stay focused on this path that God has me on. Because if I look to the left or to the right, I might steer off. So I had to really do a lot of soul searching, pep talk to myself, affirmations, journaling, self-help books, tutoring, you name it, whatever I had to do, I did it. I did it by the grace of God. I did it because I was determined, and I said to myself within me, I said, you can do this, Vicki. You done came this far. You're not turning around. You're not giving up. You can do this. And that voice was saying, well, when you got your bachelor's, when you got your associate, it wasn't as hard, but each level has a devil. So as I got my associate, my bachelor's, then when that master's came, the devil's like, oh, she ain't gonna quit. She's not gonna give up. And I did. So I just want to encourage someone who may be listening to this. Never give up on your dream. It may be something else. It may not be education. You know, going to the highest level that you can go. It might not be that for you, but that was one of my desires, that I make it to the highest education that I can get. And now I'm getting ready to start grad school, get my doctorate, my PhD. I haven't decided on which one, but it's going to be a PhD or a doctoral degree. But stay tuned. And I'm doing my research. I don't want to spend 5 to 7 years trying to get my doctoral PhD degree. This mindset right here, I'm walking out 2.5 to 3 years. It can be done. They said, well, you have to do full time. Well, I have did that, 2 full-time jobs. So I'm going to treat it just like a job. I'm going to treat it just like 2 full-time jobs. So I'm writing a plan down now. I'm doing my research now. And I'm going to conquer this. So I hope y'all got something out of this. Give me a thumbs up. I need all the thumbs up. And somebody might be in the same situation that I am in, was in, and think that they cannot do it. But let me tell you, don't give up. No matter what, don't give up. You might give out, but don't give up. And keep them negative people out of your life. Keep it moving. God bless. Thank y'all. To all of my subscribers to come, and thank y'all, my followers, and give me that thumb up. I really need it. I appreciate you all. Have a blessed night. Bye-bye.